Hello there guitar fans. If you don't know me, my name's Liam. I'm a guitarist and composer for multimedia and general music bigwig from Cambridge in the UK. Today I'm presenting to you my pick of top 10 best guitarists. Now, this is opinion, so I don't really want to get into any conversations of right or wrong, but I do want to present you with some maybe left field ideas for great guitarists, or maybe introduce you to some players that you've just not heard of. If you like guitar or music production tutorials or songwriting tutorials, then I invite you to subscribe to this channel right now. Once we've done that, we can get on with the list. Number 10, Chris Robertson. If you don't know Blackstone Cherry, then we're going to have a problem. They're a great band, catchy but interesting riffs, crazy drum work, powerful vocals, and awesome solos. Chris Robertson is a very talented singer and very talented guitarist. Songs to listen to include Blind Man, White Trash Millionaire, and Lonely Train. Number 9, Jeff Beck. Jeff Beck was a really big deal with the whole British invasion movement, but it was his solo work that really caught my attention, particularly his playing style. Imagine a progressive blues guitarist who doesn't use a pick because it allows him to slap his whammy bar around and drop seamlessly in and out of tapping phrases. Suggested listening includes What Mama Said. Now, special bonus shout out to Jennifer Batten, who has some ridiculous tapping techniques which I've learned a lot from over the years, but not quite enough to make it onto my top 10 list. Sorry, Jennifer. Number 8, Ed Wynn. Ed Wynn plays guitar and keyboards for psychedelic rockers Ozric Tentacles. If you like weird meters, soundscapes, and world music as much as you like shred, then this is the band for you. Ozric Tentacles were one of the biggest influences on me when I was trying to work out what I wanted to do in terms of instrumental guitar music, and they really expanded my horizons in that way. Now that's not the kind of horizon they're usually accused of expanding, but I'm going to leave that conversation to your PSHE class. Some Ozric Tentacles songs to listen to include Papyrus, Lemon Kush, and Kick Muck. Number 7, John Sykes. This guy has been in two of my all-time favourite rock bands. They are Thin Lizzy and Whitesnake. He also happened to form the band Blue Murder with one of my favourite bassists of all time, Tony Franklin. He's a real hair metal guitar god and has properly mastered an array of creative natural and artificial harmonic techniques, as well as some really impressively fast picking and smooth legato techniques. Suggested listening includes Crying in the Rain by Whitesnake and Cold Sweat by Thin Lizzy. Number 6, Guthrie Govan. A true master of many styles, but it's jazz fusion in which his talent really comes through. Most impressive is his phrasing, especially when using techniques you wouldn't normally expect. Also, he's a really modest dude and does a lot of tutorials online, so if you want to learn from the best, look for Guthrie Govan tutorials. I would suggest listening to Wonderful Slippery Thing by Guthrie Govan and Bad Asteroid by the Aristocrats. And where possible, bonus piece of advice, try and find live versions of Guthrie playing, as they are by far the most fun. Number 5, Steve Vai, our second Whitesnake member to end up on this list, who will probably end up on most lists for top guitarists, if we're honest. Vai is a true innovator of the electric guitar, although a lot of people will tell you that they find Steve Vai's solo work really unlistenable or too alien, but let me tell you, that is very much the point. Even if you don't like him, you can't tell me he's not raised the bar for players everywhere. Suggested listening includes Building the Church and Tender Surrender. Number 4, Joe Bonamassa. Now I have to say, recently I've been a bit disappointed with Joe Bonamassa. He seems to have retreated into blues standards, which, don't get me wrong, that's fine and everything, but he had some really creative and interesting blues-based material like Blue and Evil, the Ballad of John Henry, and so forth, and he just seems to have ignored that really creative side recently, that's a shame to me. but whatever. Anyway, songwriting aside, this is possibly the most talented blues player many of us will ever see. A really melodic playing style which doesn't get lost in the shred even when playing at speed, and he can play at speed, believe me. Blue and Evil and The Ballad of John Henry are my listening suggestions, by the way. Number 3, Felix Martin. Just look at that instrument. It's mental. Felix has mastered the art of 14 and 16 string guitar. I mean, no one asked him to, but he did it nonetheless, and it really has pushed the boundary for the instrument. I was lucky enough to interview Felix a few years ago for Stabbed Panda, and that was a real treat. The method behind his playing makes a lot of sense, but understanding it doesn't make it any easier to do. Suggested listening includes Tango and Flashback. Number 2, Joe Satriani. There's no way Satch wasn't going to end up on this list. First hearing Surfing with the Alien when I was in my teens was an indescribable experience, which I'm sure many of you guitarists out there are already familiar with. My favourite body of Satriani work is actually his stuff with Chickenfoot, because he doesn't seem to rely on himself showing off, and he seems a lot happier creating that kind of music, and the resulting music is way more fun and way more accessible to everyone. So, if you're a music or rock fan in general, I would suggest listening to Soap on a Rope by Chickenfoot, but if you're a guitar fan who's here for the shred, then my favourites include Mind War and Ice 9 by Joe Satriani. Number 1, Doug Aldrich, the third member of Whitesnake on my list, and my number 1 pick. This dude can properly tear it up in both rhythm and lead settings. His riff work in Dio, Whitesnake, and most recently The Dead Daisies is some of the grooviest and catchiest you will ever hear. You know what else? Doug seems like a nice dude, you know? I know we're talking about guitar skills here, but that helps you like someone, yeah? Suggested listening includes Love Will Set You Free by Whitesnake and Long Way to Go by The Dead Daisies. So that was my top 10 list of favourite guitarists. If you guys want to have the usual, Hendrix was the best, no, screw you, Zakk Wylde is king, no, Mike Portnoy is the best banjo player this side of Switzerland, you can have those kind of conversations in the comments. This list is my opinion, and these are my top 10 players who I enjoy listening to, who I think are the most talented and who have inspired me the most throughout my playing career. Also, Doug Aldrich is measurably the best guitarist, and you are wrong if you think otherwise. Maybe I need to be less antagonistic. Anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for liking. I've been Liam. I'm serious about subscribing. You should do that. Anyway, see you later. Goodbye.